Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fidelis. I really enjoy helping people discover their true self. And if you like what you hear, if you like the content, if you like the energy in this channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Don't forget to comment. I'm really looking forward to all those. I love reading, I love hearing from you. It's good to know that on the other end, wherever you are, that I'm making a change, however small it might be. That really keeps me going, because that's what I'm here for. That is the only reason why I chose to come to this app, to make a positive change, to have a positive effect on someone, anyone, on you. Today, as you can tell, I would love to talk about women. Women, yes, I know there is men and women, but today is time for women. Soon there will be a time for men. So let's just focus on this now, because we can't really talk about everything at the same time. I can share what I think from my perspective. And when I say my perspective, it's very important for everyone to understand that perspective is different on anybody. An example, if I showed up here wearing a hijab, someone would probably think, oh, is she a Muslim now? Another would think, what's going on? And literally everybody would have different reactions. But why do we all have different reactions? If I showed up here dressed like a man and talking and having mannerisms like a man, everybody would have something to say. And that something is actually molded by your upbringing, by who your parents were, where you went to worship, what schools you went to, what society, what community, what your values are, determines how you react to things. Well, the big problem is most people do not realize what's influencing them to react to certain things. What do I mean? An example, if I had a father who was always a drunk as a young girl, and he was never home, and he was beating my mother. So when I grow up thinking drinking is not good and drunks are not good. So when I grow up and I take up a career in nursing and I go to work in an ER and someone comes in bleeding, almost dying, only for me to read their charts to see that they are alcoholic, then I would use the same reasoning I used as a young girl and say drunks are not good, and I will not put the effort to try and save this person's life. And because of that, that's the reason why I'm bringing this to your attention, so you can try and figure out who molded you. The way that you're thinking now, is it helping you? Or did it serve its purpose then when you were younger, and it's something you probably need to let go of now as an adult, so as to better deal with things by seeing the actual reality of it? An example, I remember I once showed up for a job interview. The position was administrator. And when I showed up and I said, I'm here for an interview, the guy looked up at me and he said, oh, I was expecting a man. Mind you, I live in America currently. My last name then was different. Like, the name Fidelis can be used by both male and female. And my last name, you can't really tell, right? Because if you're not from the Kikuyu society, you can't really tell what my last name stands for. So I looked at this man and I said, I'm not going to blame him. Maybe his mom was a stay-at-home mother, and maybe he's never really understood that women also work, and that women can also have positions in power, and that women can also do the job just as well as a man would, regardless. Because, hey, I have my education to back it up. So I said, oh, I apologize, but I believe my resume speaks for itself, seeing that I was asked to come in for an interview. And he was very embarrassed. And I hope he never has to ask another woman that. I hope he thinks twice. So when I'm talking about perspective, it's very, very important, because it has come to my attention that women are really losing their power. Women have really accepted to be like a second-class citizen. I'm not talking about you, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about women generally. This morning I woke up to one of my very good friends, a very good sister, someone that I would say, this is my family. She called me crying. She said, Fidelis, I'm so heartbroken. I'm so sad right now because my ex just showed up in my house with policemen accusing me of trying to circumcise my daughter. They've taken her. And you and I know there's no such thing. Ndovu wakipigana, nyasi ndo humia. I'm sorry if I butchered that because I don't really remember the exact words to that. But what am I trying to say? As women, we really have to protect our kids. And not just our kids, but every child. Why is this the case? You know when someone says this is a future generation, actually there's so much truth to that. But we are shaping that future generation. But are we being conscious in the way we are shaping it? In a situation where I, as a mother, am home with my kids on a Friday afternoon, and my ex decides to come bring police to my house with guns, maybe 10, 12 policemen, with a claim that she's planning to circumcise my daughter, and all the police are men, my ex is a man, and they're coming to get my daughter, who's not even a teenager, whose mind has not even developed enough to understand that her parents don't get along. So this daughter is subjected to witnessing me as the mother crying, her other siblings crying, her father yelling, policemen commanding her mother. This is what I call trauma. This takes forever to heal. For this child, unless someone goes and speaks to her after the fact and answers all her questions, her life will probably be something like this. I hate men. Reason number one, men broke into my house against my will, against my mother's will, against my father's will, against my stepfather's will. They took me away from my mother, who I love very much. Then I'm taken home to my other father, to my real father's home. But I don't understand it. I would rather be with my mother. I would rather spend my time with my mother. She's my comfort. Every time I've fallen, she's been there for me. Every time I've cried, she's been there to wipe my tears. Every time I've had any kind of problem, she's been there to solve it. But because of these men, she can't solve this one for me. So therefore, I hate men. And if a girl grows up saying, I hate men, you do understand that as women, we really cannot reproduce without men. So what happens? A girl grows up and she says, I'm Miss Independent. I don't care. And if I look at these men, they're nothing but, I don't know, other creatures that just happen to coexist with me. Am I going to treat them with respect? No. Am I going to have any value for them? No. And this is the future. This is the future generation. But all this could have stopped. All this could have been stopped at the very beginning. This child doesn't need to endure that to begin with. Let me share my story. I with everything I have because I was raised in the Christian community, packed with fear, packed with so much fear that life is almost unbearable to live. And I thank God because it was 2020. It's the world of connection. So I just simply went to YouTube and I started searching. Awakening, born again, spirituality, the truth, the universe, energy. And then it occurred to me that what had just happened is that I had remembered my language. Energy is my first language. You know, when something happens, and when someone tells you about it, you're like, oh my God, I knew that was going to happen. Have you ever asked yourself, how do you know this? I'm going to really record a lot of videos on this topic because I feel like this is a topic that should have been covered in schools. This is a topic that should have been covered somewhere, because I have always thought of myself as a very educated woman. On that day, the universe proved to me how much I don't know. And by looking up, I started realizing, did you know there were mystery schools around the world? In Africa, the mystery school is in South Africa. There's people who have had this knowledge handed down to them, generation after generation, by invite only. Has it ever occurred to you why 5% of the population owns 95% of the wealth in this world? And why the rest 95% of us, ordinary everyday people, are fighting over 5% of the wealth in the world? We simply didn't get invited. We simply didn't learn about energy. We simply didn't learn about the universe. We simply weren't taught about manifestation. But let me tell you that God is a living God. He loves us all, regardless of your religion, because this is the year of enlightenment. This is the year of awakening. This is the year of truth. This is the year that we all take charge. This is the year that God has said, it is not for you who think you can manipulate others. This is for all my children. And so I'm looking on YouTube, I'm reading books, and I'm spending all this money now. I'm investing in myself. I'm saying, I know what I'm worth. I did something that nobody else has done in my family, at least to my knowledge. And I need to learn how. How did I do it so easily? How can I teach others to do it so easily? And so I studied, I tried to read, I attended course. I was like, I really need to learn how to explain this to somebody. Because trust me, if I showed up to you and said, yeah, I spoke to my father-in-law who died a couple of years back, you'd look at me and think, oh my God, she's crazy. But if I had the method step by step as to how even you can do it, if you wanted, and who doesn't? If you're tired of leading your life through your ego, I always think of it this way. Every human being has an ego and a higher self. The ego is who was born, who went through all that, who was raised. The ego is that personality that was shaped by your parents, your place of worship, your tribe, where you were born, your schooling, your life experiences. You turn out to have that ego that survives and gets itself shaped. And that ego is who was very sad to see my father move back. But by me getting so sad, getting so depressed, questioning myself, I was able to dissolve that ego so much that my higher self just pierced through the veil and said, wow, hey, I'm here. I'm here to help you. I've been trying to help you for so long. Remember when you were really, really stressed about coming to America and nobody wanted to host you? I figured out a way. I asked that guy to call you. And the same thing, remember when you were at that concert with your sister and I was like trying to get your attention because something bad was happening to her. And you listened to me and you ran to where she was. I have been trying to help you, but all along I've been telling you stuff, but you don't communicate back to me. And that was a moment of just being humbled. I just sat there in my power and I said, thank you, God. And the moment I said that to one of my relatives, I said, oh, I'm planning to go back home. Hey, don't go. There's problems. I asked, what do you mean? Where are you going to say? Have you even built a house yet? And at this point, I realized I was no longer operating from the ego's perspective. I had dissolved that ego. And I was now operating from a spiritual perspective. And I said, what do you mean if I've built a house yet? When I came to the US, did I have a house built here for me? No. Did I make it to have a house? Yes. Didn't I just sell my $500,000 house? Yes. What do you think has been constant all along? You think it's America? It's not America. It's me and my God. It's me and my God. And as long as I have me and my God in alignment, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. And I don't care who comes to say, oh, she said, oh, say it. Say what you need to say. Live your life. Because my realization is we came here as a single soul. One, emwe, moja. Single soul. And one day, your lights will be turned off. Everybody's going to die. You have to accept that everything that has a beginning has an end. And I know you've heard stories of, I remember when my grandfather was dying and he told my mother, I'm here waiting for the people that come to get people wearing white. And that got me thinking, if there are people that come to get people when they die, then what do we bury? We bury a body. That means your spirit, your energy separates from your body when you are no longer serving the purpose. It moves on. It's a cycle. I know when TV remotes were introduced, I was present with my grandmother when one of my uncles brought her TV and she said, don't touch that. It's a work of the devil. And so we resist as human beings. We resist new technology. We resist being advanced. We resist evolving because we want to hold on to what is true to us. We want to hold on to what has always worked. We are afraid to try new things. But let me tell you, if you're doing the same thing over and over again and you expect to have a different result, in my books, that is called stupidity. Because this is what I know. If I want to go to the airport and I get in my car and I say, tell my GPS to take me to the airport, it's going to take me to the airport. And I say, thank you, there's a GPS. And thank you to whoever created it because he has made my life much easier. There is a person out there who still thinks that, let me drive around and see if I end up at the airport. Now you understand, if you do that and end up in the airport, you're very lucky. Or you're very guided. You have that intuition within you that will tell you, take a left, take a right, take a left, take a right, you've arrived. But if you don't have that internal guidance, if your intuition is not awakened, if you don't know who you are, you need a GPS if you know where you want to go. In reality now, most of us know what we are trying to get out of life. We have a vision in place. We have a dream in place and we work towards that dream. But we are working towards that dream blindfolded because we are working towards that dream as the ego, detached from the higher self. And it's not until we access our higher selves that we are able to communicate back and forth with ourselves that life changes. I was once in your shoes. I was once very depressed. Trust me, I have never been as sad, as unhappy, and feeling so undervalued as I did when my father moved back. But I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for his move, because even if he didn't know it, it needed to happen. In my world, that needed to happen so that I could get off from my comfort zone. Because pain was put on this earth for us as human beings, to elevate ourselves. Have you ever thought about all the issues that you've ever had as a person, and how you overcame them, and how life was never the same once you overcame them? Then as soon as you overcame them, another problem came up. But you overcame it again. That is the pain. The pain is our teacher. Accepting that allows us to grow so fast. Your rate of growth will be so fast because you're not wasting time repeating classes. I really look forward to a moment where I am sitting with women, talking about issues that are affecting us, clarifying issues that have been in our blind spots. We all have places in our lives that we really don't understand. My message for you as a woman today is to tell you that, you know, that problem that you have, that thing that's bothering you, it's actually taken care of. The moment you decide that that problem has been taken care of, you will see that happening in your reality. That is the art of manifestation. That is the art that is taught in these high-end mystery schools that we can't even get into. But this year, it's going to be everywhere. So I say, if nobody has introduced this to you, let me be the first to introduce it to you. And if someone has brought this to your attention before, take this as the universe giving you a second chance, telling you, hey, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. But ultimately, your choice is very respected. The will of the human being. Once as a spirit you are embodied, your will is respected 100%. The universe is like the perfect mother that sees their child pick up a knife and says, baby girl, don't do that. Don't play with a knife. And you as a human being says, oh no, I really want to. And the mother says, okay, I love you. If you get hurt, I'll be here to help you. And if you decide you don't want to play with the knife, then I can give you something else that's of more use to you. So when my universal mother said that to me, I said, I am done. I don't want to play with the knife. I don't want to get hurt anymore. I want peace. I want that serenity, that bliss, that joy. I want to spread that. I want to help you spread that. I want as many people as possible to go through the experience that I went through, to know themselves. And as a mother, having that love for my child, I wouldn't wish the life that I lived on anybody. Yes, I did it all. I did it all. I was a young girl and I came from nothing to everything. I did that whole cycle, but the only thing that was missing was happiness. And as I speak to you today, buying my ticket to come back home, I can honestly tell you that I am so happy. The joy within me is so much. I am overflowing with love that I want to just pour out to anyone that wants it. And it's a good place to be. The question is, are you willing to shift your mindset, or are you going to resist and call it the work of the devil and continue living the life that you're living? You know, I always believe that darkness and light cannot exist in the same space. If it's dark and you turn on the flashlight, the darkness is gone. And it is my hope and desire that someone out there feels the same way that I feel. And someone out there would also want to change the world. one person at a time, one circumstance at a time, one video at a time. Because life is too short. Life is too short to go about it sad, depressed, jealous, angry. Those are all characteristics that are very well known to reside wholly with the ego. When you're operating from a spiritual perspective, even when your ex-husband shows up with policemen to take your child away, you speak like Jesus. You say, God, forgive him. Forgive him. He has no idea what he's doing. Because this will be the last time this is happening. Because when you are a soldier, when you are a warrior, but on the side of God, nothing on this earth, nothing on this earth can come in your way. You just walk the walk, talk the talk, and just watch miracles happen. If you are willing to bring back miracles in your life, I'd love to hear about it. I'm going to share my email, my social sites. DM me, text me, call me, send me. I would love to hear from you. I'm waiting. Thank you.